Ho e ya, ho a he ya, ho e ya, El valle de Duwamish es el hogar ancestral de la tribu Duwamish, con uno de sus descendientes más famosos, el homónimo de la ciudad, Chief Sealth. Cuando los colonizadores blancos comenzaron a invadir en masa la actual Seattle, procedieron a desalojar los habitantes históricos de estas tierras, imponiendo mediante la aprobación de sus leyes los desalojos, las agresiones y el desplazamiento de los pueblos originales. En sintonía con esta agitación social comenzó la reconfiguración cosmética del Valle Duwamish para adaptarse a las necesidades del crecimiento industrial de la ciudad. Asimismo, lo que era antes el río Duwamish con sus distintas capas, grietas y su auténtica diversidad de fauna y flora se convirtió en un botadero municipal, excavado y modificado para enderezar su geometría y profundizar su fondo, dando espacio a la navegación de buques. El desarrollo industrial convirtió lo que fue en su entonces un lugar paradisíaco y vibrante para la pesca y recolección de mariscos en un lugar completamente inhabitable. Estos cambios de las vías de agua y su paisaje natural ilustra el impacto del desarrollo económico con el desplazamiento de comunidades, especialmente en el Valle de Duwamish. Durante el transcurso del siglo, este ciclo se ha vuelto a repetir. A principios del siglo XX, el Valle Duwamish tuvo un influjo de inmigrantes campesinos, en su mayoría descendientes italianos y japoneses, que empezaron a instalarse en el área, incluyendo el famoso Giuseppe Joe de Simone del mercado de Pike Place. Una familia japonesa de apellido Ishii rentó tierras de Joe en el barrio actual de Georgetown. Bajo intensa presión por la Segunda Guerra Mundial, la familia Ishii fue forzada a mover su huerta 1 milla al norte para hacer espacio a una planta de aviación para el avión de guerra B-17. Al poco tiempo fueron desplazados nuevamente, pero esta vez bajo las órdenes del entonces presidente Roosevelt, que ordenó el despojamiento de todas sus tierras y pertenencias y fueron forzados a campos de concentración para japoneses americanos. Ya para 1970, las comunidades de origen latino, en especial la mexicana, empezó a instalarse en el Valle Duwamish, debido a la asequibilidad de sus barrios. A lo largo de los años 80 y 90, el Valle Duwamish vio la llegada de refugiados del sureste de Asia, incluyendo vietnamitas y camboyanos, que se instalaron por mayoría en el barrio de South Park. El día de hoy compartiremos las historias de 2 vecinos del barrio de South Park. Uno de ellos sigue viviendo en el barrio, el otro tuvo que mudarse. Estos relatos están inmersos en el legado de impactos causado por el gobierno, las grandes corporaciones y aquellos que gozan de privilegios económicos. Son historias que se repiten desde las experiencias de los ancestros del valle, la tribu Duwamish.
My name is Cindy. I'm a former resident of South Park. My family is my husband Jose and our son Matias and me. We are from South America. We have a very big connection to our families and roots. I moved to the States when we got married and we decided to start our own family. It is been a hard transition, but I'm happy to be here. Jose used to live in South Park for so many years, and his immediate family still live there. For me, living in South Park is like being connected to our roots. We know that South Park has many needs, but still is a part of the city that gives us the feeling of being home. I love to hear people speak in Spanish. We got so excited when we go to the verduleria or to the bakery that is so different from any other bakery. We can find things there that we cannot find anywhere else. Sometimes we go to Mara Farm to take a walk and buy some veggies. It is so nice to see how South Park comes together in so many different ways. There is a feeling of a family in South Park. I knew my neighbors and the people in the stores. Here in West Seattle, where we have moved, it's not the same. The culture is very different. We still go to South Park often to see our relatives or just to shop. I feel we have a connection there. We left South Park because we couldn't find a decent place for a decent price. Also, we wanted to live in a neighborhood with a grocery store nearby. As far as I know, the cost of living in South Park is increasing because these big developers come, buy a lot, and then sell it at a price that is only affordable to people who earn big salary. South Park didn't used to be that expensive. Now they are grabbing it. I believe the city gives more to the higher income neighborhoods and others have to wait. It shouldn't be like that. That's not equity. I think the city needs to come to the community, sit down with people and ask them directly what their needs are. I believe the Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition has the tools to help people stay in South Park. I believe the community organizations can totally make a difference for the families and the small businesses. It is important for people to know that what is happening in our communities so we don't just get lost and become just one more number.
Both of my parents were born and raised in Mexico and moved to the US 21 years ago. I lived with them and my sister. My parents were leaving a lot behind when they left Mexico, and so they moved to Seattle to be closer to family. They found a good and affordable place to stay in South Park. There were already a lot of Latinos here, and they made them feel welcomed. There were a lot of people around them who shared the same culture, ate the same food, and spoke the same language that could help them. I remember volunteering with my mother at the food bank every Sunday when I was a kid. We had a nice tight community with the parents of the kids who went to Concord Elementary. The kids at Concord have completely changed since we were children. When we used to go there were more Latinx students. Now there are more white kids. A lot of things are changing. There used to be a corner store where me and my friends used to love going to that had to close down because their rent went too high. Most of the stores now are white-owned. I always wanted to make sure I never lost my ability to speak Spanish. I believe if my parents would have moved to another community that wasn't as Latinx-centric as South Park, I wouldn't be as connected to my heritage and culture as I am now. The only reason I've been more in tune with my culture is because of the people around me that already knew it and shared it with me. When I was younger, I had a very tight group of friends. 2 of these friends have moved away because their families couldn't afford to pay rent. I was really close with one of these friends. We used to live in the same home. Her family left to live in another place in South Park where they could afford the rent. It wasn't long before they had to move again. This time an hour drive away from the city. I have no idea where she lives and no longer talk to her. My parents were also friends with her parents. They were really good family friends. We want to get in touch with them, but wouldn't even know where to start. I wish they could have been able to stay longer. I know with the way rent continues to go up, there are families that are not able to afford to pay. They don't have time to pick up another job to be able to pay rent. They're busy doing other things like raising their children. It shouldn't be needed to have 2 jobs just to be able to live. I've been an intern with Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition for a while now. I learned there's a real need for help in rent and utility bills in the neighborhood. It's important to raise awareness that there have been people living here all their lives and are now being kicked out because wealthier people are moving in. To the city and those who have the power to intervene with what is happening, I would like you to realize that there are people here who need help, who can't pay more rent. You shouldn't push wealthier people over here and advertise South Park or any other low-income neighborhoods. We're already struggling with the rent we have now. Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition can be the spokesperson for the community, asking and fighting for more affordable housing. They're speaking out about it and pushing the government for more help and funds to make this possible and help the community.
Hola, mi nombre es Maria Guadalupe Ramirez. I am the chair of the Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition. The coalition came together 3 years ago to implement strategies to address the rampant displacement that has been occurring in the Duwamish Valley. We acknowledge that the first people to be displaced were the Duwamish people, and that today the Duwamish Valley remains one of Seattle's last bastions of minority-majority neighborhoods with a rich ethnic and cultural diversity. Its historic residents have built and contributed to the rich cultural tapestry of events celebrating the many countries and ethnicities of Latin America. It hosts the annual Fiestas Patrias parade and celebration in September. It's been home to the first Dia de los Muertos events in Seattle, as well as to some of the most dynamic community-led organizations, such as the Duwamish River Cleanup Coalition, Via Comunitaria, Friends of Georgetown History, the Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition, the Concord International School PTA, ECOS, and the Duwamish Longhouse and Cultural Center, to name just a few. As a result of more than a century of industrial growth, the EPA in 2001 declared the lower Duwamish waterway a Superfund site. Its main polluters are the Boeing Company, the Port of Seattle, King County, and the City of Seattle. In 2013, the CHIA report on health impacts reported the life expectancy of a South Park resident at 74 years, compared with 87 years in Magnolia, a wealthy, mostly white neighborhood in Seattle. That's a difference of 13 years. In 2018, the City of Seattle, in its Duwamish Valley Action Plan, reports asthma prevalence is 12%, compared to the city average of 9%. South Park and Georgetown are the only neighborhoods in Seattle that have industrial and residential zoning in such proximity. 92% of South Park residents and 100% of Georgetown residents have households living near a contaminated site, the Superfund site, or a freight corridor compared to other parts of the city. Our mayor, in an interview with KOW, states, South Park and Georgetown, the Duwamish Valley, have really shouldered the burden of environmental injustice for decades. Given its proximity to two highways and an interstate, the closure of the West Seattle Bridge has forced drivers onto the residential streets of Georgetown and South Park, adding to the already dismal air quality here. Displacement has been occurring over the last couple of decades. Most recently, wealthier white people have moved into South Park and Georgetown, attracted by the land value and its proximity to other parts of Seattle. Ironically, the work done by the very groups seeking to address the historic, environmental, and socioeconomic inequities in the valley have also added to the attractiveness of the community, helping to drive off its historic residents. The resilience of these residents is demonstrated as they continue to variously face the very real threat of being displaced or living with housing instability, not knowing if tomorrow's rent hike or property tax will be the one they cannot afford. The City of Seattle has the power to support the residents by working to slow displacement by first trusting grassroots community organizations that are made of and by the people of the Duwamish Valley. And secondly, by using its power to create capacity of community organizations such as the Duwamish Valley Affordable Housing Coalition to undo years of historic inequities. Whether it will be new affordable housing or the preservation of permanently affordable homes or a new community facility to house the services and opportunities this community deserves, we want to be sure that the people who live in the Duwamish Valley can stay here or have the opportunity to return to their historic home. Sí se puede.